Welcome back, guys. In this exercise, we're going to finish up our beat. So we're going to take the melody from our last module, and then we're going to add some drums and a bass line under it. Let's do a little recap of what I made. So first, we have our main melody here. We have the chord progression under it. We have the harmony. And then the counter melody. Finishing this up is going to be really easy. So let's do the drums first. Let's start with the snare. We're going to put it on the 2 and the 4. Let's have the hi-hats doing 8 notes. Gonna turn it down slightly. We want that kick drum to hit on the downbeat. Okay, and now we're just filling in a couple spaces in between. All right, so here's our drum pattern. Let's go on to the bass line. Now, I thought it would be cool if we made a synth bass and an 808. So what I'm going to do is just copy the chords onto a new pattern, and we're going to paste that right into our synth bass patch, and then remove anything that's not a root note. So that is that. There we go. 2, and then the 5. And this is going to be our synth bass line. Too muddy. Let's move it up. And I think this is going to sound really good with the chords by itself. Let's hear this down an octave. Oh, that sounds really nice. Okay, so we can make this pattern twice as long. Let's have one up the octave, and then let's put the C sharp down an octave as well, just for a bit of variation. Copy this onto a new pattern. Let's put it onto our 808. And now we are going to make our 808 line. And I'm going to just mute this with nothing but the drum so I can really hear where that kick is. Once again, too low, so let's move it up. So one there. Right there. So you can hear that there's no kick with the C sharp, but that's where the chord change is, so I'm going to leave that there because I think it still sounds nice. It might be fun to move one down the octave for a bit of variation. And we can duplicate this pattern similar to how we did with the synth bass. Let's move this one up, let's move this one down, let's move this one down, just to make it less boring. And now we have all the components to a basic beat. Let's do a little bit of arranging. The first thing I'm going to do is split the drums up so you can see each individual sound. And now you can see every single component of our beat. We have the harmony, we have the melody, we have the chords, counter melody, synth bass, 808, kick drum, hi-hat, and clap. An easy way to arrange this is to stack them all on top of each other. Then we're going to duplicate it a bunch of times, and then we're just going to start subtracting. And now what we're doing is mixing and matching our favorite pieces with each other. I said before that I really like the way the chords sound with the synth bass, so maybe that can be our intro. Maybe have the hi-hat just come in by itself. The synth bass and the 808 occupy the same region in the mix, so you definitely don't want them playing together because it's just going to sound really muddy. So we're going to have these two take turns. Now, I like the way that the 808 sounds with the kick, so whenever the kick plays, I'll have the 808. If the kick doesn't play, we'll have the synth bass. So we're going to just do like a little bit of a back and forth pattern. Let's bring the counter melody here to keep it more interesting. And let's start introducing our main melody with the chords there. I know if I just have the chords and the synth bass, it's going to be very low energy. And we can start slowly building it up. Then once the kick drum comes in with the 808, we can bring in the rest of these instruments to make it sound like it's really dropping. Maybe a little pause right there. Once again, for arranging, the combinations are endless, so experiment and pick your favorites. And now my basic beat is finished. Now this is definitely not the craziest beat that you've ever heard, but before we get into the complex stuff, we have to master the simple stuff first. So now I want you guys to go on your own, take your melody, and finish up your beat as well. And once you've done that, I want you to do the whole process over a couple more times. Make sure you keep experimenting, change your tempos, change your chord progressions, change your melodies, change your drum sounds. Also try doing this in a different order. Maybe you start with the drums or the chord progression first. And while you're doing this, you should be training your ear at the same time. Keep going until you have a beat that you're really happy with. If you don't like the beat you made, keep practicing. It's going to get better every single time. Okay, you guys have a lot of work to do, so have fun and get going.